Okay, in this video, I am going to explain to you what Amendment 1 on Florida's November 2016 ballot is all about. All right, Amendment 1 was sponsored by Consumers for Smart Solar. And if you go to Florida Department of State Division of Elections website, you can see who the donors are. And here's the list for the donors for Consumers for Smart Solar. Florida Power and Light, Duke Energy, Tampa Electric, and Gulf Power and Light. All right, so these donors have donated $16 million to help push this amendment on Florida's ballot. If you notice here, this should be called Utilities for No Solar rather than Consumers for Smart Solar. All right, I am logged into right now helpsolarpower.com. That's helpsolarpower.com. This is actually the sister site to helpsolarpower.org. That's helpsolarpower.org. And they have a very nice, easy to follow explanation of Amendment 1. Here's a neat little diagram. This actually shows you who paid for this Yes on One for the Sun. Again, Duke Energy, FP&L, Tampa Electric, Gulf Power, Koch Brothers, Exxon Mobil. So this is where all their money came from. All right. So Amendment 1, I'm just going to read it since it's pretty easy to follow. Amendment 1 is a bait and switch amendment designed to confuse voters in Florida. Amendment 1 on Florida's 2016 ballot was paid for by Florida's big utility companies under the misleading name of Consumers for Smart Solar, also known as Yes on One for the Sun, to stop solar power in Florida. As you can see from the list of top donors below, the only ones who support this amendment are the big utility companies. So yes, as you can see, all the money is coming from the big power companies, the Koch brothers, and the oil companies. So I'll just keep reading on. Amendment 1 on Florida's November 2016 ballot is a blatant bait and switch amendment designed to mislead and confuse voters. Amendment 1 is not pro-solar. Amendment 1 was sponsored by the big utility companies to help the big utility companies, not consumers. The utility companies' proposed Amendment 1 reads as follows. Rights of electricity consumers regarding solar energy choice. Here's the bait. Rights we already have. This amendment will provide no new rights for solar owners or consumers. So here I'm going to start reading the amendment now. This amendment establishes a right under Florida's Constitution for consumers to own or lease solar equipment installed on their property to generate electricity for their own use. State and local governments shall retain their abilities to protect consumers' rights and public health, safety, and welfare. So, as stated, there are no new rights. We already have the right to own solar. We already have the rights to buy solar panels. They are not banned in the state of Florida. We can buy solar panels anywhere and we can generate our own electricity. This is providing absolutely no new rights for solar owners. The second sentence states, state and local governments shall retain their ability to protect consumer rights and public health, safety, and welfare. Again, this is providing consumers with no new protections. These are, states' rights and local governments. This is nothing new. This was blatantly placed on this amendment on the top to be used as bait. People who don't read these amendments thoroughly are going to read these first two sentences and automatically assume that it's pro-solar when in fact it's not. All right, third sentence. And to ensure that consumers who do not choose to install solar are not required to subsidize the cost of backup power and electric grid access to those who do. This is the switch rights utility companies want to have in order to legally penalize, fine and charge Floridians. So basically, I'm going to give you an example here of what these power companies are trying to do. Let's say I drive my truck to work and I spend $200 a month in gas for driving my truck. And I decide that instead of driving my truck to work, I am going to buy a Toyota Prius or ride my motorcycle to work. So now, instead of spending $200 a month on gas, I'm only spending $60 a month. So now the gas station owner finds out and gets angry. And he comes and tells me that I have to continue paying him the $200 a month because it is not fair that other people are subsidizing my gasoline access. So, I mean, basically that's what this is saying. So if I buy less of their product, other people are somehow subsidizing my ability to buy that product. This makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. That is why they had to put 2 sentences worth of bait on top of this amendment to make it palatable for people, because it's a complete and total sham. This is a sham. I mean, I can give you a million examples. This would be like if I plant a mango tree in my backyard, and instead of spending $100 a month, buying mangoes, I grow my own mangoes, and the grocery store owner comes and tells me, hey, you used to spend $100 in mangoes and now you don't. So you better keep paying me that $100 a month, because it's not fair that other supermarket customers are subsidizing your ability to buy mangoes. I mean, this is absolute nonsense. I can't even believe that they approved such an amendment to be on the ballot. All right, let's keep reading here. The notion that people without solar are subsidizing people with solar is a fallacy. It's not true. So the notion that people without solar are subsidizing people with solar is a fallacy. It's not true. Rooftop solar increases the supply of power to the grid and reduces the demand. 101 economics teaches us that more supply and less demand equals lower prices for everyone. Lower electricity prices helps consumers, not the utility companies' profits. So that's basically what's going on. If we have solar on our roof, we're going to consume less of their good. We're also going to put more power into the grid, therefore increasing the supply and decreasing the demand. So more rooftop solar should mean lower prices for everyone, which is what these utility companies are trying to fight. They want to make as much money as possible, and they want to prevent people from having solar. That's their goal. The utilities company's goal is to be able to legally penalize people for consuming less power. Amendment 1, if passed, could fine and charge Floridians for having rooftop solar power. Please help solar power in Florida by voting no on Amendment 1 and visiting, donating, volunteering at flsolarchoice.org. That's flsolarchoice.org, or you can visit helpsolarpower.org. That's helpsolarpower.org. Floridians for Solar Choice is flsolarchoice.org, or you can visit the Sierra Club. And there is a very nice video here explaining why such a confusing and misleading amendment was even allowed on the ballot. So once you watch this video, you will see why such a misleading amendment was even allowed to be on Florida's ballot. So remember, if you want to help solar power, vote no on this utility-backed sham solar amendment 1. Vote no on 1 in November 2016. Vote no on 1 in November 2016, and you can find out more information at helpsolarpower.org. That's helpsolarpower.org. I hope this video has helped to shed some light on Amendment 1. I hope this clarifies any misconceptions that might be out there about this being pro-solar. As I just showed you, this is not pro-solar. This is a sham. This is a scam. This was sponsored by the big utility companies to help the big utility companies. It's not going to help solar, and it's definitely not going to help consumers. So Don't be fooled. Vote no on 1 in November. That's no on 1 in November. Find out more at helpsolarpower.org. That's helpsolarpower.org.